Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 164. I'm Mox Born Again. I have with me, it's my angel.
Hello.
She's back. Last week, she fell. No, was it? You fell ill to the medicine slash Little Caesars. That was last weekend, right?
Oh,
Last.
maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was last week. You fell ill to a combination of food and
That
medication
was
that
not good.
did not bode well for you or your stomach or your back end or front top end?
We won't go there.
Was it coming out the top or the bottom?
We don't need to discuss that.
I think
Thank
we
you.
do. It's critical to the show.
I think not.
Anyway, so we got a pretty big show. Well, I always say that, and
Yeah, you really do.
I got to stop saying that. We've got a shitty show.
We've
for
got
you.
a show.
This is a terrible show. You should
It's
stop
just-
watching right now.
Why do you need to qualify it? It's just a show.
It's a show. We've got a show planned for you, somewhat planned.
Although, I don't know, because, well, they can be watching us. That's true. Like a show is something like you show somebody, you view them. Like we've got to listen for you.
We've got to listen for you.
I wouldn't call it a show.
Well, they can go to ustream.com/channel/BC
This is
podcast
They can.
and watch us. So it's a show on demand. And we'll get into that a little bit further because we have jumped into the next generation of television. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first and foremost, we're going to get Angel's thoughts on the Xbox One. Well, not right now, but that's the first thing up on the docket. Actually, second thing, because we're going to talk about what we've been playing, which we've been playing quite a bit. It is actually exciting. We have things to talk
Because
about.
Eli's into playing games.
Eli has
Which
suddenly...
is bad. I should not have taught him that the Xbox plays games.
Eli has discovered the world of video games finally. After showing him so many different video games, the one game that clicks is a racer.
He likes all racing games, apparently, though.
Exactly. So
Because he likes race cars.
he does like race cars. So we'll get into that. And then we're going to talk about our TV stuff and how fun it is now.
Well, and how we kind of have had a busy week.
I want to talk a little bit about E3 predictions, because that's coming up next week, is it?
We,
Is it
we,
next
we got a few new things today, not just TV.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see here.
Which one of them was a result of something that happened Memorial Day, because
Yeah.
Happy Memorial Day that
I
just
think
passed.
E3's next weekend, actually. Holy cow. So, yeah, we'll talk about some E3, kind of predictions or what we want to see out of the show. Obviously,
I got a lot to talk about before I go to bed here
we
pretty
do.
soon.
So let's rock it out. We're 7
Yeah,
minutes
let's
in.
move.
We're doing pretty good here. All right, so let's talk about what we've been playing first and foremost. We'll get the normal ones out of the way. Halo 4, FaZe and I have getting into that. You played with us the one night, played some Halo 4.
Yeah, I think I did.
I had a Halo 2 moment. Me and my brother did, actually. When everybody had a mic. Like, Xbox Live is this brand, not really the brand new thing, but matchmaking was this huge thing with Halo 2, and everyone had a microphone, so everyone had a voice, and everyone chose to express that voice in game and after game. One of the best things about Halo 2 is you could talk to the enemy team before the game, during the game, and after the game. So you weren't, there was no, there was no, like, I don't want to say that, no wall between you and them until after the scores were settled. It was, you could call someone a whole bunch of angry names and they could just turn around and pwn you, and then you'd be like, oh, you got a tail between your leg kind of thing. But I definitely had a Halo 2 moment with playing with FaZe the other night. We got paired up on a remake map of Lockout, which is sweet. Whoever made it did an excellent job. There's a few quarrels, but overall, it's a solid remake, much better than Blackout was, in my opinion. So the first remake of Lockout, this is a much better remake. But we got matched up with this one guy who was on our team for like 4 games in a row. We played Lockout the entire time. He was on our team. He did pretty well. And then we got matched against another guy. I don't remember his gamer tag for the life of me. And this guy did nothing but talk crap the entire game. And we kept beating him, like hardcore beating him. And at the end of each match, he'd be like, "Oh, well, there was lag." And I wish my teammates would score more than 7 points or 8 points a game. I'm like, but you died 22 times. You got to stop dying so much, buddy. And finally, the last game that we played together as a matchmate in heaven, we the guy that was on our team actually got pushed to the other side. So he was playing with this other jackass or whatever. And probably about 2 or 3 minutes in, FaZe and I and these other two randoms are up like by probably about a good 20 kills. 20 to maybe 3 or 4 kills or whatever. So we were pretty much dominating this map. And all of a sudden you just see the asshole just backs out of the game. After the game, our old teammate, which was on the other team, was like, "Oh, you guys totally made him rage quit. I heard him scream and yell and holler, and then he's going on and on and on how you guys are terrible." And we contacted him, and he's like, "Oh, I lagged out. I lagged out. I got a terrible internet connection. I lagged out." It's just one of those things where people like just talk a whole bunch of smack, and then can't back it up and get served. You got served, and it's on till the break of dawn. Anyway, that was a random story, but I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun compared to some Halo 4 experiences. But there's a playlist that has single score, like single kill, single score. So there's no more 10 points for a kill and 5 points for an assist. Any of that garbage. It's kill or be killed, and you get a point if you kill someone. So that's the way it should be. First one to 50 kills wins. Weapons on the map respawning, spawn with BRs and pistols. And there was like a midship remake, and I was like, God, this is amazing. Why don't they make a playlist all about this? It was in the community playlist, but I was like, God, what? Why can't this just be it? Why can't this just be the game? And I remembered I can go back and play Halo 3, maybe. So, anyway, after you come back from your vacation there. Welcome
Sorry.
back.
I'm tired. This is the latest I've stayed up. I've been like falling asleep early lately, like in Eli's room or taking a nap. I took a nap. I don't take naps. I took one the other day, Saturday. It was amazing. I wake up and Eli's playing on the floor. I said, "Eli, did Mama take a nap?" He goes, "Yay." Oh, okay.
So what games have you been playing? You and Eli started playing. You actually got Eli playing games.
I didn't mean to. I don't even know how it happened. I think we were laying in bed Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and
It was Sunday morning, or was it Sunday? Maybe it was
it
Saturday.
was Saturday. And I think I was looking for something for him to do because a show would end, and then he'd want me to restart it, and I wanted to keep sleeping. So I'm like, well, maybe if there's some kind of easy kid game, something that would be easy for him to just kind of push a button or two. So I found Feeding Frenzy, the fish game, and he played that a little bit. And then I was going through the arcade games, just looking through stuff, and he saw Joyride Turbo. He goes, "Race car game?" I said, "You want to play a race car game?" Yay. So I downloaded it, and that's all that kid wants to do anymore. Race car game, race car game. So we've been playing that.
Which it's not a bad game.
No, it's actually kind of enjoyable. I
When
played it myself the other night.
when the game came out, this is a sequel to to an original Joyride, which was one of the demos for that sold to Connect, like that they try to sell Connect on. It was a free download, a free full game for Connect. This was kind of like your buy-ins, like, hey, you buy this new hardware, and we got a game with achievements and multiplayer and leaderboards and matchmaking and all that stuff. And it turned out to be half of what they wanted. It was better for better or worse. It was a beta, in my opinion. And this game is like the full, like what they promised the first one was going to be. Like, you could hop in and play. There's trick mode and stuff like that. A real kart racer. And they charged people for this one, and it kind of got a bad rap. So I don't think it sold very much. But it's a solid game. I mean, if it didn't come with that bad stigma of, hey, this was supposed to be free 2 years ago, but it's still it doesn't.
It's got the like series races. It's got the like stunt tracks or whatever kind of thing.
Multiplayer. It's you unlock different there's a bunch of cars to unlock, and you don't just unlock the cars, you got to unlock the parts to build the car, and then the car, each car has 3 main parts or whatever, and that's how you unlock it. So you scatter throughout the tracks, and through the trick mode, are these crates that you unlock cars with. But I like it's a fun kart race. I mean, it's no Mario Kart, but
yeah, although
Eli enjoys it.
Yes, but it's not the thing I thought it was going to be to keep him occupied because he'll get stuck and hand me the controller every 2 seconds.
Although it took him what 1 or 2 days to figure out that he can go in reverse and get unstuck. Today, the only time I had to get him unstuck is when he got crammed in like into a tunnel that he was just going. It was Austin Powers tunnel. Dun 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 dun. When he's trying to back up out of that tunnel with the 4-wheeler thing. No, nothing. God. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm tired. This
So
is late
after
for
he
me.
started playing that, then we had your mom over and her boyfriend, and we all played. We broke out Burnout Revenge. And this was a great title. And if you have never played Burnout Revenge, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, go pick it up for like $3.99 for the 360. It was one of like I don't know if it was a launch title, but it was right about that launch time, first year out. Graphics have kind of been a little dated. It still has a nice. I mean, there's no jaggies or anything like that, but it's it's still nice to look at. But we had some good pass the controller fun. Eli really got into it. Now that was one he hasn't played too much, so he doesn't really have like how it goes. Like
Right.
he like pumps the controllers or what, like pumps the triggers or whatever. But
But yeah, he was fun with it.
he's enjoying it. So we got some.
I gotta
fun out
stop
of
him. I gotta stop him from playing games. I gotta make a limit here though, because he's getting a little too addicted to the video games, and he's only 2.5.
We didn't play very much today. We just played Joyride for a little bit. We did play Skylanders, which is on my list as well as Skylanders, which he's kind of got. He lets me play, and he changes the Skylanders. So I think it's a little too complex for him.
Yeah.
And like I asked him, okay, do you want to play or whatever? He'll sit on my lap and put his hands on like the bottom of the bottom of the controller while I actually control the character. But he really enjoys picking up that character and seeing something happen on screen, and then picking up we've got 4 different characters, and he's like, ooh, the big one, and it's like the wooden troll looking thing, and he puts it on there, and then it does its little intro, and he's like, oh, and he does a little shaking thing.
And and you'll go to any store that sells Skylanders, and he runs Skylanders.
Skylanders.
It's
So-
bad that he recognizes that stuff.
Why? It's toys.
I know.
I mean, it's just like Thomas. Like he walks into a store and
I
he knows
know.
exactly where Thomas is. But it's something that he enjoys, and the fact that he knows if he picks this toy up and something happens, like this piece
Right.
that's in my hand is what is changing.
Controlling.
That's incredible. I mean, you said so yourself when he learned how to back up. You're like, did you do that for him? Like, no, he backed up his own. Like he did, he did it himself. So he's gonna be a race car genius. Maybe he'll, I don't know about that. Never mind. I'm gonna stop that thought. I've downloaded Duels of the Planeswalkers 13 for the iPad, which is free. I don't get that. I think they make money. I think they make money off like you can unlock decks and stuff like that. But it's clear that they developed this game for the iPad. It works so much better than the 360 version. Like I'm honestly contemplating if there's a few people that don't buy M14 for the Xbox, I will buy it on the iPad. Or if it's free, I'm going to download it on that. But it's so easy. You just swipe and, this is what I want to play. You swipe it to the floor or to the battlefield. You tap shit and tap, and it works so great. Unfortunately, I don't have all my decks unlocked or all my cards unlocked, so I had to start back over from square one. But I can see that it works really well, and I'm really digging it. So, all right. So let's, enough about that. Is there anything else that you played that you can think of?
Nope.
Candy Crush Saga. You did play Dance Central 3.
I did play
over
that
at-
with Ducky the other night.
You got your groove on.
It was fun. It's hard. But they've got a lot of good songs, a lot of old songs like Vanilla Ice. The
So what'd you-
Macarena.
Macarena's in there. What's the one song that you like? Slide song.
The Electric Slide.
No, not the
That was on
Electric
there.
Slide.
Cupid Slide. That's on there too.
Cupid Shuffle.
Shuffle.
That's on there.
Electric Slide's on there too, though.
Is it? Sweet. So,
So yeah, it was fun.
any good changes or anything? I mean, from what I was a bystander, but I could
I
see
mean,
that
I
it was
don't-
tracking seemed to be a little bit more.
Well, I don't think we even had 2. So
No, we had the first one. Ours
right.
was 1.
So I don't know what's different between 2 and 3.
but between 1 and 3 are huge differences.
Right. I mean, being able to play two people side by side, jump like dropping in and just getting right back in it or whatever. That's really nice. So, yeah, I mean
The
that's one.
tracking seemed to be a lot more in tune. The other thing that I noticed is there's songs that had you guys actually spinning, like turning, like 360 turning. That's not in the first one at all. Like I don't
I think it might be.
really. Okay, well I'm not that good at the game, so I don't play it. But it just seemed like there was a lot more, like what do I want to say, precise.
Variation in
Yeah,
your moves.
variation and more precise movements. Like
Right.
and like they had like clapping going on, and like that was the weird thing too, because like they had clapping going on in the front of your body, which in the first one I don't think, well, even in the first set of games for Connect, like anytime you did something in front of your body, the Connect sometimes had a very difficult time reading it, but it clearly was seeing Ducky and you guys do the clapping or whatever, because it's got your little renderation or whatever the Connect seeing in the top corners of your screen, and it's right there. So if anything, it kind of opened my eyes that this new Connect that they're coming out with is going to be pretty slick. With the higher definition camera, more
Right.
ways to see you, and it's going
That it
to
will have the ability to do a lot more.
right. It's going to be able to see you in the dark. So I guess this would be a good time to switch over into what you think about the 360 or the X360, the one. What do you think
The
about the
one.
one?
Um, I don't know yet. They really haven't shown any like awesome games that I would have to have it for,
Mm-hmm.
which, that's the thing, like why I would want to buy something is just for if there's an awesome new game coming out that I have to have like the new PlayStation. If there was a new Uncharted, I would have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not well, okay. This kind of leads into our new thing, but a lot of it was just having to deal, at least what they've shown, is just having to deal like with it controlling all of your other like household media,
Mm-hmm.
like being able to, and that is pretty cool. Like being able to watch a movie on your Xbox and as you're watching it go, oh, I think I know that guy, snap to Internet Explorer and like
IMDb.
IMDb, like go to the, and look up who that person is right then and there, like the instant gratification of being able to multitask like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Which
how I feel about multitasking, like while you're playing a game. Like I don't know how you can.
not really playing a game. But I mean, the one thing that that they have shown is Skype is going to be a big thing. So, is there going to be like an automatic sign in for Skype, or because if I see someone pop online, I'm sitting here playing a game, I could pause my game, say, snap to Skype, call, it's my angel, and it's right there on my screen. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to pick up my phone and start texting you. I didn't
Right.
have to send out a Twitter like, "Hey, who wants to play this game?" Blah 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 blah. Just saw you popped online. But
I mean,
the one thing before we get to the games, I want to bring up. You brought up a huge point. This is huge, and I don't know if this happens quite a bit in our household when we're watching a movie. And we're like, oh, hey, who is that guy? Or who is, and we each pull out our phone and we start IMDb, looking at IMDb, and we are no longer looking at the TV screen. Now, mind you, we don't pause shit. We just let it keep going, which is kind of our own stupidity, actually. We just let it keep going. We're sitting down here now with Snap 2. I mean, I kind of sound like I'm working for Microsoft here, but you can say Snap to Internet Explorer, IMDb, just like you said. We are still watching the TV. It's still within our field of view. Still can hear it, and we're just speaking. We're not typing or anything, so we can actually still watch TV and say IMDb, search. I don't know.
right, but if you're reading through IMDb, you're still not looking at the movie, which is on the
Yeah.
screen too, and it just makes your movie smaller.
Right.
So, I, I'm really kind of, I'm really kind of torn on it.
Right.
I don't see the. I like how seamless everything kind of just seemed to go
How it
together on
seemed.
it.
That's the big
Right,
thing. Is it real?
right. That's the thing. They are showing it at a conference, for the sake of being fluid. Did they have like 4 Xboxes and then someone's back there just pushing a thing to switch it between input, like,
Right.
ones on different inputs?
Or if that's just a slideshow that they just went through. Like, is that a very well done PowerPoint?
Right. I mean, it's hard to say. You don't know that unless you're there. You're just kind of taking their word for it. But if it is that seamless, that's pretty cool. But I can't see the need to go game. Oh my god, I gotta watch the show right this second and like switch like right this middle in the middle of
Right.
my game. Like, I don't know.
Twitch.
Right. I mean, and if you've got TV, which we hadn't had until today,
Right. That's not big for you.
well, but if you have like the cable or something,
Right.
you can most people, if they have cable, they've got the DVR capability.
Right.
I mean, unless you've got like the $20 basic cable, which is what we
Right.
had prior.
Which, let's be honest, the Xbox is not a DVR. It's not going to record your stuff. And the other thing that came out after the press release, which you can kind of weigh in on, you can't control your DVR from the Xbox. So you can't say record that show. It's literally just a guide of what's on. So you can switch to channels that are on right then and there. If you want to record something, you actually have to switch to your DVR
Right.
and push record.
Which, I mean, you might as well do that if you're in the middle of playing a game, set up your DVR to record your stuff and then watch it whenever the heck you want to versus like,
Right.
oh my God, I'm in the middle of my game. I got to switch to that. Like,
Right.
unless there's like, the only thing I can see is like, okay, maybe you would want to, if you're playing something where there's a lot of wait time, like if they're maybe Halo, like I know your brother, like a long time when he was lived at his parents' house, would be playing Halo or something, and during waiting in a lobby, which during some of those older Halo days could take a while, would switch to like a sports game or
Right.
something
And
that
he would
would
say,
be
tell me
on.
when it's back on.
Right. In that case, you could snap to watch your sports game in your little intermissions on your game, and that is kind of cool. But
Right.
I'm pretty.
Nowadays with I mean, Halo 4 is kind of on its way out the door, I think. I mean, it's any given time there's less than 100,000 people playing it. I mean, at the most there's 200,000. I mean, games like Call of Duty, you've got 300,000 people at any point in time playing that game. So the wait's not very long. But, it'd almost be, in my opinion, are you watching something and playing games in between the breaks or whatever? Which
Right.
with DVR there are no breaks because you fast forward through the breaks. So the whole kind of like this is gonna meet your TV watching and video game playing needs. I don't think there is a need for it. It's a cool option to have, but on the same side, I don't. It's just seems like it's definitely a first world problem,
Yeah, and
half world problem actually.
what is it that I had an art teacher in college say that multitasking makes people stupid, and I never agreed with her on that. But now that I see this, I'm like, okay, like you can't give your brain a moment to process and think. Like you have to constantly be inputting like media into it, either from a TV or video game standpoint. Like you can't have. I think that I don't know. I might have to agree with her on that. That it might be a little too much constant input, having a couple different things snapped and then switching back and forth that in an instant. Like
Right.
it might be going too far to me. I don't know.
Okay. So Snap was one thing that they talked about. Controlling your TV was another thing they talked about. Let's see here. So if TV wasn't your thing, and let's talk about NFL. So with
Not
the
my thing.
fantasy football.
Don't do it.
Okay. But here's the thing. So let's say you are going to buy one next gen system this coming fall or Christmas or whatever. You either have the PlayStation 4 or
PS4.
Xbox One. Let's say you do play NFL football, you do fantasy football. Would this sway your opinion? I mean, because the PlayStation doesn't have this because this is something that Microsoft has signed on with the NFL Network, and this is their thing. They're this is we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. Fantasy football while you're watching sports, which kind of feeds into that same thing. Like, okay, they're watching TV. Obviously, they're gonna use a Snap 2 thing. They'll use this as well. Do you think this might be a little bit more of a
Maybe for I don't know because I don't know that crowd, so I really can't say.
okay. Well, I mean, I think it might be having the option on your Xbox to do that. I mean, that might be
But
something.
that's for what, a quarter of the year that football's on TV?
Right. That's true. This is true.
I mean, is
Absolutely
it
true.
worth spending that kind of however much money it's we don't even know how much what the price point is on it
Well,
yet.
that's come out as well. There's been leaks of anywhere from I think the smallest was $700 and the highest was $990.
Which is outrageous.
That is simply outrageous. Which the other on top of that, the same online sources had $99 for a game, which that seems redonkulous.
particularly if you have to buy multiple copies of a game for
Okay.
like the same household.
So what you're speaking about is the online DRM. It's always on, always connected. You just like, kind of setting up these segues, and I'm just knocking them out of the park. Good job. So the always on kind of thing. And every time you buy a game, it comes with a code that you have to down. You have to basically either download the game or authenticate.
Kind of like register it.
Right, register the game, which we kind of got a taste of with online passes here in the 360 cycle, where if you bought a new game, EA was really big into it. I think Activision dipped their toes in it a little bit, but you had to authenticate that as a new title. If it wasn't a new title, you were limited as to what you could play. Now with this, it's all or nothing. So if you don't have that authentication code or your authentication code has been used, you have to buy another one for whatever the cost is. They haven't announced any of these costs. None of this has been whatever
Right.
announced. But they didn't. They were very slow to get this information out. At one point in time, the idea was, if I buy a game, me Mox Mornigan buys a game, you can't play that game because I've downloaded it to my profile and it's on my Xbox. So you have to get your own Xbox and your own shit. Like you have to. Well, that was the first rumor that got smashed right away. The way it really works is exactly the way the arcade works right now. The Xbox Live Arcade. If I buy a game, anybody can play it on that console that I buy it on. So like we bought Joyride. I bought Joyride up on the console in the bedroom. Anybody can play that game online, offline, whatever. I don't have to be signed in. Now, if you want to play it, it's my angel wants to play it down here in the living room. You have to sign me in onto Xbox Live, and then you sign in, and then you can play it by yourself.
Which means you can't be logged in anywhere else,
Exactly.
which is
That sucks.
kind of an issue.
It does suck. Kind of makes you wonder if people would end up actually buying like a third or like a dummy account to buy all their games on, and that way you could
Oh.
space things out a little. I don't know. Kind of like a server account or whatever, but that would be expensive. Anyway,
But that account still would only be able to be logged in. Like we couldn't both be playing games upstairs and downstairs.
right, exactly. That's true. So that wouldn't work. Smashed. All right. Anyway,
Which I mean that poses a problem for people who like we don't mind split screening. Like you and I play split screen quite a bit, but you've got like our friends Squall and Kata who buy 2 copies of games to play on opposite.
on opposite
Screens.
Exactly. So I mean, it's really kind of. I don't know. They really haven't announced too much more in regards to it, but it's going to be one of those things that they want to keep online. Just like they want to keep people online all the time so they can see what everyone's doing. I mean, market research would be phenomenal for their sponsor, their developers and stuff like that. Hey, you publish a game on Xbox Live. Our system's always connected. We can tell you what they're doing and how many people are playing and how many, when they log in and how many hours they're playing. They can give you all that information because it's always online.
I'm PS4 all the way.
So,
Just saying.
well, they haven't announced what theirs is going to do, but trust me, there's going to be something. Like, whether it's, they don't have a Kinect or anything like that that's listening and watching at all times. But it's going to be something. So, let's see here. What else was there? I think that's probably. I mean, so you're PS4 then, huh?
Yep.
What's the PS4's name?
The PS4.
Okay, it was a trick question. I was thinking, see if you're gonna come up with. You're gonna say anything else. So, Anyway, the
His
one
name is
thing that
Billy.
after, we've already talked about the Xbox Live Arcade or whatever. The one thing that I'm kind of leaning towards, and this is kind of like a conspiracy theorist kind of coming out in me a little bit, but I think Microsoft is actually going to be the first one to jump to all digital. I mean, I know Steam is out there, but as far as the consoles go, like the home consoles, I think they're going to be the first ones to jump to all digital. Case in point, Microsoft releases the Xbox 360. Xbox Live is growing. They release Xbox Live Arcade. And just like we talked about before, you can only be online with one account, and that game can be registered to one Xbox and one person. However, other people can play it while that person's logged into that Xbox. So it's a very strict DRM for that type of setup. As far as online users go, as far as disc-based games, they had the very end of this console cycle. They start doing a little bit of the online passes, start testing the waters there, see how far they can get. People still buy these games and play these games. Battlefield 3 is a big example. You can't play that game online unless it's brand new or you buy a pass. So they kind of start testing these waters, and the developers are testing these waters. Xbox One steps foot and takes it just a little bit further with your disc-based games now acting just like your Xbox Live Arcade games. So basically, you are buying the disc that just allows you to go online and download the game. Essentially, is all that disc is literally a booklet that has a picture of the game and a disc that says, "Hey, I put $60 down or whatever to go home and authenticate this online and play it." I believe the next Xbox, which after this, the Xbox 2, TWO, the Xbox 2 will be online always and no discs. It'll be just strictly downloadable content. I
Poor
mean, they.
GameStop. That's
I
okay.
mean,
The Nintendo stuck like in the.
well, and the thing is, they've talked about Microsoft has talked about they're going to have a retailer, or not retailer, excuse me, a reseller for used games. There's going to be a way that you can take your used games, take it to a store. They will be able to de-authenticate it, so you will no longer have access to it, and sell it back to somebody and sell an authentication code at a discounted price. So you still will be able to buy used games, but it's going to be under Microsoft's thumb, and you're going to have to pay a certain amount of money for the reauthentication, blah, blah, blah. So GameStop still has a part in this, but GameStop as a brick and mortar store, nah, it's going to be more of an online store, I think. Because you're not going to have a disc to turn in. You're just going to go to GameStop's website and say, I have Halo 16. Take it, what can I get for it? And they're going to be like, oh, you can get $16 for it, even though you just bought it last week. So that's my opinion, that it's going to go, the discs are going to go, and people are saying that it's not going to happen. It's going to be a long time before, but they were very quick to dismiss backwards compatibility. How do you feel? That's another thing. How do you feel about backwards compatibility?
I want it.
How do you feel about backwards compatibility for a system that we own 3 of? One that doesn't work. Well, we have 4, and one of them doesn't work.
We have 4?
There's one over there that doesn't work that we were given for free.
I didn't know that. I still think we should have
I
backwards
don't care.
compatibility.
How many times have you played an Xbox One game in the past year?
Xbox One was 10 years ago?
About 10 years ago, roughly.
Okay, well, there's been times I've wanted to play PlayStation 2 games.
That's why we hooked up the PlayStation 2. So we can do that.
That's why we had to go out and buy another PlayStation 2
That's
after
fine.
we already got rid of one.
That's fine. I understand that. Because we were stupid and didn't think about, oh, well, we have PlayStation 3, but it's not backwards compatible. Why did we sell those? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make it. I'm not
still want
just.
to. I don't want to have 50. I'm not like a pack rat, and when I keep 50 zillion things, I'd like to have one thing that does all my.
Okay, I can understand that.
Okay.
I can understand that. That's the one argument I can
Plus,
say.
then you can't use it for trading credit towards a new system.
Okay.
It takes that kind of perk away.
Okay. All right. Well, I understand. Okay. You can see. I'm just thinking in our personal situation, we have couple Xboxes. We
Right.
don't need.
I don't want 3 Xbox 360s hooked up that I have to then unhook to plug in the Xbox One and then rehook it when I want to play an Xbox 360 game.
Oh,
And
but see, here's the beauty of it. You can plug your Xbox 360 into your Xbox One, and then you can go Xbox switch to Xbox 360. Snap to Xbox 360. You can snap to your cable. Why wouldn't you be able to snap to that input?
you've got a great, you don't have to have a great, big, huge freaking entertainment stand for all this crap.
The new Xbox 360s are slim. They're quiet.
No,
You can
not feeling it.
honestly, it would probably almost fit behind our TV on the wall. So anyway, all right, we'll move along.
Yeah, you
Move
talked about
along.
this last week. Let's keep moving.
All right, so
I'm losing. You're
we'll
losing me
talk.
here.
Tell you what, we'll talk about E3 next week, just to
Sounds like a
cut it down a little
plan.
bit, so we can get a little bit prepped for that. Because I don't think neither of us really prepped for it. So we will talk about E3 next week. Other than that, I mean, the only thing I got for wrap up is playing in a Magic tournament.
You didn't mention the fact that we've mentioned the fact that we got TV, but you didn't mention the whole like what we got or any of
Oh
that
yeah,
business.
go ahead. Okay, I'm
Or
sorry.
our new stove
Sorry, you were
because
so-
Memorial Day you broke the other one.
All right, so go ahead. Go ahead, fill it in. Fill them in.
All right. So this week's been a busy week.
Today's been a busy day.
Wow. Memorial Day was this past weekend. This has all happened since Sunday. Memorial Day was Monday of this week? No, of last week. So it's been a little over a week.
I didn't.
Did you
mention it.
podcast? We didn't podcast last week.
I podcast last week. You did not podcast last week.
No, I don't think. I think we skipped last week. Actually,
Oh, did we?
we did.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Anyhow.
Go ahead.
So Monday rolls around. Dad's coming over for dinner. 5 minutes till my dad gets here. I hear glass breaking and shouting. And I figure, okay, he broke a plate. Come in, definitely not a plate. Would have much rather had it been a plate. But yeah, wine bottle sitting on top of the fridge. Don't know why, but it's there.
It's been there for God knows how long.
Right. Apparently was sitting too close to the edge of the fridge and waddled its way off after having the door shut on the fridge. Smashed right through the glass cooktop on the stove. Had to order a new one of those, which was now an interesting experience because Best Buy sucks at their installation.
God, yes, they do. They suck at explaining it. The
Right.
installation went smoothly. Well,
Well, no, it didn't because they scratched our
Yeah.
range and we have to have them bring us a new one and be here for yet another install. That's one of the issues. The other issue was them telling us that they do something that they don't. Anyway, you don't need to know all this business.
so basically, they told us that the $27 charge was for installation was not just for the cord that connects it to the wall, but it was going to wall mount the thing and wall mount the actual system so it wouldn't tip over, which is great because Eli's getting a little bit more mobile, and I don't want him opening up the stove. Not to mention when it's on, but when it's off and opening up the stove and trying to climb into it and have it fall over on him. So they're like, "Hey, yeah, for $27, we'll mount it to the wall."
We're like, sold.
I'm like, great, yeah, but
We even asked about, okay, is this the cord?
yeah, if it's a cord, screw
We've
that.
got a
I can plug
cord.
that shit in. I don't need that.
No, definitely not the cord. I called. The wall bracket was inside the stove when we opened it up and called over to Best Buy and they said, no, they can't do that. It's a basic install. A
Right.
basic install is plugging it in.
Yeah, $27 to plug in a cord. So buyer beware.
Well, it was for the cord. The cord does not come with the oven.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Okay, because there's
$27 is how much the cord costs.
yeah, buyer beware. If you have a stove that's less than 10 years old, you're probably safe.
Well, and you can probably find a range cord somewhere.
Yeah, just go to a junkyard and pick one off.
At any rate, so that was our first event. The next event was I'm going to be working. I don't know if I've mentioned this at all, but I'm going to be working from home.
That's exciting.
I'm going to be working nights and weekends, so you will not. I will be.
Podcast might have to change it out a little bit for that. I just realized because I don't know.
I
We'll
should
have
be
to
done
figure
by
it
8 or 9.
out. All right, so we'll still.
But at any rate, I will not have weekends anymore, which I'm really sad about. Like I'm having kind of a hard time with that. But I'll have all day and during the day home with Eli, which is awesome. Sometimes. But in light of that, we're like, you know what? Maybe we should get some TV. We've not had TV in a long time. Let's get TV. So we got TV, which was
Well,
turned
let's
out
be
to be
clear.
a 4.
Let's be clear. You decided to get TV
I talked to you about it.
like at 5 o'clock in the morning. You were up with Eli, and I was fine. I just
It was like
you-
9.
You're like, Joe, I'm getting TV. Okay.
That's pretty much how it went. I yelled up to him from the stairs.
Hey, we got someone installing TV on Tuesday. That's okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
exactly how it went.
pretty much. So we got DirecTV, which is awesome. If you have AAA, you get $10 off a month for the first, I think, 18 months. And they came out today and ended up being a 4-hour install,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. But on a positive note, should have increased our internet speeds.
Right. Apparently, Time Warner had screwed up some when they installed basic cable or when they hooked up our basic cable. They split our internet line a couple times too many or whatever to theoretically leave us space to put new TVs in or whatever. Like if we're gonna expand the number of TVs in the house, they left us extra space to do that, and then they put the internet connection at the very end. So the the DirecTV guy's like, "Hey, is this your internet connection right here, right?" And I'm like, "I guess so, because the rest are all TV port, like TV, like it's scratched in says TV or whatever." So he just did that and just jumped past two or three, well, two, I think it was two splits, then into the main one.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Um,
The reason why it took so long is because they had everything hooked up down here perfectly. Like this is where the genie is and all that stuff. The one upstairs is like the sub
which is
account.
freaking huge, by the way.
Yeah, it is pretty big. The one upstairs is just like a small, like it almost looks like a network box kind of. But that one upstairs took them a while because me and my father had installed the cable line that went up to the second floor, and they had it hooked up and running, but he wasn't happy with the quality of the picture or whatever. So he was like, to get this to where I want it, I'd have to run another line. So I was like, yeah, sure, do what you got to do. I want it right this first time. I don't have to call you guys back out to do it again. So that's what took that long time, is they had to figure out how they're running the second line. So,
Yep.
but other than that, I'm so far happy with it. I mean,
And then we had an ill child for all week.
all right, so watching the same shit over and over and over again on Netflix kind of got old pretty quick. So that is probably what stemmed the whole. I'm going to be home with Eli a lot.
Yeah, do I want to watch the same episode of Dinosaur Terrain 25 times? No.
No.
Or
So now you can watch
Scout?
new stuff.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
Well, this will at least broaden what he does watch, because it's like I think you said that there's no Thomas over there or something like that, or there's no.
We don't get any of the episodes that carry Thomas, which is kind of sad, actually.
No, is that just the on-demand stuff, or is that like?
No, there's no
just no
Thomas.
channels that
I
have
don't
Thomas?
think. I searched for Thomas and it came up with nothing.
Well, that sucks. Well, this at least broaden what he watches. So I mean, maybe
Right.
he'll fall into something else like
Which
Spider-Man. I've been trying to drill into him Spider-Man.
No, why? Why? I don't
Spider-Man
understand.
is so cool. That's what I liked when I was growing up.
He's 2.5. He's too yet a little for that stuff
What
yet.
about like Ghostbusters?
Still little. Maybe when he's like 4.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
4. Again, you're talking like big kid stuff.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to get him.
He's still a
I'm just trying to
baby.
get him to have the curve. So like when he goes to school, he will be the cool kid that knows all the cool stuff. I corrected myself. I don't know why.
Give
cool
him
shit.
give him a babyhood still, please.
what?
Thank you. Babyhood.
Babyhood.
Yes.
Like childhood.
Babyhood.
Babyhood. Like a hoodie.
No.
Anyway.
Anyway. All right.
All
That's
right.
all I got.
All right, so to the wrap up. So we're trying to plan a Magic tournament. We're deciding whether or not to run a modern tournament in light of the new set coming out, Modern Masters, or just run a standard tournament like we always do. Right now, I believe Modern is actually winning with a couple votes. The one thing I don't like about Modern is there's so many options that with how much we play Standard, it just seems like it would be. I mean, you could play a Standard deck in a Modern tournament. Like, there's no reason why you couldn't. It's just there's so many more options to consider when building a deck. The other problem that we have is I have very few, maybe less than 100 cards that are outside of Standard that are in Modern, because all my stuff is like Tempest and earlier. So, I guess it'd be Exodus and or the Saga and earlier. So like the sets that are in Modern we would have to either purchase cards or just do without them. So I don't want to do that. So I don't know, but it might be fun a fun kind of change. Who knows? We'll see.
I would fail.
I mean, you could flip through some of my old stuff and see if there's anything in there that you'd want to put in.
We're having a garage sale.
We are having a garage sale. Good jump. So, anyway, all right. So we'll call that, right? We're having a garage sale on Saturday. If you're in the Dayton area, come to Patterson Park.
Yeah.
See the neighborhood garage sale.
I think I counted 33 houses on the list. That doesn't include houses that aren't advertised. So it's a good time.
That's a lot of houses.
And we'll have some magic cards.
That's
magic why cards. My brain went there, because there's a box of old magic cards.
We will have magic cards. We'll have some new ones too. Standard, commons, uncommons.
Right.
So come on out. We'll have some fun. So anyway. All right. So yeah, if you want to chime in, go ahead and post on our Podbean page, ballandchainpodcast.podbean.com. Tell us whether or not we should play a standard tournament or a modern tournament. Next week will be Tuesday, episode 165, same time, same bat channel. I really don't have anything else. You got anything else you want to add? All right, cool. If you guys want to get in touch with us, ballandchainpodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can watch us right here on Ustream every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, ustream.com/channel/BC podcast. That's all we got for this week. We'll see you guys next week.
Night.
Bye.